Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a good morning. It's 6:35 right now. It's pretty early. I woke up at 4 today, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna do it. Okay, I've been trying to come up with a new schedule so I could film and start posting more regularly. Today's video is gonna be a get ready with me and story time. Because I am doing a story time, I'm not gonna talk so much about the products I'm using and all that, because I don't want to get distracted from the story. I will have everything I use listed down below in the description, so don't worry if you're wondering, it'll be there. Okay, so I already did my eyebrows off camera just because it takes a while. So those of you who know, I have a 1.5-year-old son. His name is Leonardo Ezekiel, and he is the light of my life. I'm gonna start off with my first trimester up until, you know, the day I had him. Like, the first 3 months were really hard. I was just like super nauseous all the time, and it was just no joke. I feel like I had the strongest sense of smell ever, and if I was eating something and then someone else was eating something else, I could not. It would gross me out so much. I would get nauseous. I wouldn't want to eat. I would throw up. Like, it was bad, and it sucked because at school we had a lunchroom, and like it was always really packed. Like, it was so small, and the school was filled with like hundreds of students. So like, imagine that. Okay, and so everyone's food is just, you could just smell everyone's food, and it was just nasty. So that's how I was for like the first 3 months. And then on top of it, like, I got sick. I caught a really bad cold in December. We had gone to the snow, and I just got so sick. Like, I think because my defenses were just really low. So being sick and being pregnant is literally the worst thing. I would wake up in the middle of the night with an itch in my throat, so I would start coughing, and because I couldn't stop coughing, I would throw up. It was horrible. Leo wasn't getting any sleep, I wasn't getting any sleep, and I was waking up early to go to school, so like, it just sucked. I was tired. I looked like a zombie. I felt like a zombie. When I was like 4, 5, and 6 months, I was feeling like my best. Like, I felt good. I wasn't feeling nauseous. Like, I was, you know, getting ready. I felt really good, right? You could tell I was pregnant like early-ish too, when I was probably like 4, 5 months. Around the time we found out the gender, I had a little bump. I popped. Okay, when I was like 7 months, I really looked pregnant. Okay, when I was 8 months, I looked even more pregnant. When I was 9 months, I had people asking me if I was having twins. Okay, like, I got huge. Pregnancy is just it. Your body goes through all these changes. You can't tie your shoe. You can't. I dropped something, I had to pick it up with my toes. Okay, so when you get the baby, when you're pregnant, the baby pushes up like all your intestines up, so like it becomes tighter, so you got less room to breathe. Okay, this is real, this is fact. And I was like 8, 9 months, and I would eat. I couldn't eat a lot no more because it was I had like no space. Okay, and the baby was so big, I would feel him in my rib. Random as fuck, my ribs, I would just get a pain. Like, he was kicking my ribs. Wouldn't be able to breathe. I got really big during summer. I had him in August. Being pregnant in the summer in Vegas, it's not a good time. Okay, so my pregnancy, I feel like it flew by, to be honest. Like, it really did, because I mean, he's like 1.5 now, and I'm still shook that I gave birth. When I was towards my end mark, I was trying to figure out a birth plan a lot. I never expected to have a kid so young, so I never really knew what I wanted to do when I was gonna have kids or anything. Thankfully, I have a really good cousin that I'm close to, and she has 3 kids, and she's a really good mom, and I look up to her a lot. Another cousin I have, they're actually sisters, so they're both just really good moms, and they're always giving me advice and helping me out. When I found out I was pregnant, I talked to both of them, and they were just they made me feel so much better, and I really needed that like kind of advice, because at the time there was just so much family-wise going on. I felt really alone. The relationship between me and my mom kind of broke, and I was just really hurt, and I felt alone. So they were really like there for me. And I'm not throwing shade at my mom before you guys start talking shit, okay? I love my mom. Now my mom and Zeke are inseparable, okay? Like, they have a very special bond now, and she obviously loves him very much. It was just in the heat of the moment. She was upset, disappointed in me, and I get that, okay? I would talk to my cousin, and she would ask me, do you know what you want to do? She sent me like a whole book on reading, like how to breastfeed, tips on giving birth, what to do when you're in labor. And honestly, guys, if it wasn't for her, I don't know what the hell I would have done. So fast forward, this is already like I'm getting ready to have the baby, and the room is set up, the crib is set up, and I'm talking to my sister about my birth plan, because we want to make sure that I'm not stressed out when I'm in labor, you know. Tell her I come to the decision that I don't want an epidural, and I did ask my doctors if it was safe, and they said yeah. They said I should have a normal delivery. You know, the day started getting closer, and I for sure me and my sister came up with the safe word for just in case I really wanted to just give it up, because I told her, I was like, no matter how bad it looks like I'm in pain, don't let me get the epidural. Like, I really don't want it. And it was just a decision that I was so sure about. So we came up with a safe word just in case, like last minute I really felt like I just couldn't handle it. And yeah, okay, so on Saturday, on August 12th, 2017, I posted this picture that day. And this day, Leo took me out to eat at a sushi place that we really liked, because that was like the one thing I was craving all the time, which is so ironic, like the one thing you can't eat, and it was sushi and just seafood. I wanted it all the time. My last few days being pregnant, he was like, you know what, I'm take you out, babe. So I appreciate you, babe, thanks. I remember this day like it was yesterday, this whole weekend. Okay, so this was on Saturday. It was so much fun. We had a good day. I felt fine. Everything was good, right? So then that night, the same day we go eat sushi, we go home, everything's good. Leo, at the time, I wasn't going to school no more. I had already took my leave because I was high risk. So like at 7.5, 8 months, my doctor told me to just take the leave. Leo was already asleep. He would go to sleep early. To this day, he still sleeps early. He's so cute, but anyway, so he went to sleep early like always. And me, when I was pregnant with Zeke, he was the most active freaking baby ever. Like, you could see him move. If I was just chilling, even through my clothes, you could see him move. So that night, nothing different. I stayed up late watching Grey's Anatomy, and Zeke was just up in there moving. Now, for like this whole week, the past like week, I had been feeling so much pressure on my cervix. Like, it literally felt like Zeke was like trying to come out. I swear to God, that's what it felt like. And I kept waking up, like I wouldn't be able to sleep because of it, because it just felt so strong. So that whole week I thought I wasn't sure if I was going into labor or not, 'cause I was really close. My due date was August 14th, okay? So that whole week before that, I just kept feeling like him on my cervix. On Saturday, August 12th, 2017, I'm watching Grey's Anatomy and I go to sleep, and then I wake up like at 3 in the morning, and I feel so much pressure down there, and Zeke's moving a lot, and I just can't sleep. Like, I feel him in my rib. I feel him, because think about it, I'm only 4 feet tall. I was all baby, okay? I was like, this feels crazy, right? I'm like, this isn't normal. Like, he's moving a lot more than he usually does. I had to pee every freaking 5 minutes for some reason too. Like, I just felt like I had to pee really bad. And then, you know, so I got up, and then I start feeling cramps, like period cramps. And I was like, I feel so uncomfortable. I'm like, maybe like I'm gonna go into labor, right? So I start getting all excited. I'm like, yes. I try and lay down again, and I just keep feeling the cramps and they start getting worse. And I'm like, you know, I'm really starting to feel uncomfortable now. So then I'm like, okay, my cousin said if you put yourself in warm water and you know you're moving a lot and the cramps don't go away and they start, like, you start timing them and they're at the same times, like they're every 5 minutes or like every 10 minutes or whatever it is, then most likely you're in labor, like you're starting to go into labor. I got in the shower and I'm waiting. I'm in there for a while and I'm waiting to see if the cramps go away. At this point, I think it's like 4 in the morning. So I start walking around the kitchen at 4 in the morning. So I decide that I go wake up Leo because I'm like, okay, at this point I think I'm really going into labor. So I go wake him up and I'm like, babe, like, you don't have to get up right now, but I'm just letting you know, like, I just wanted to let him know, like, if I do wake you up in a little bit, don't get scared or anything, but I think I'm going into, like, I think I'm starting to get into labor. I think I'm getting contractions. So he's like, okay. So I go and, you know, I keep like going in circles and then the pain just starts getting worse. So I go wake up my mom and I was like, Mom, I think I'm going into labor. These contractions aren't going away. Obviously she's like freaking out. So she's like, okay, we gotta time them. So I'm timing them and they were like, I want to say like 15 minutes apart, but they were constant. They weren't going away. So we start like getting the bags ready and like we're just getting everything ready. Like it really starts hurting, so we just decide to go to the hospital. And we get there and then they check me and everything. They take me in, they're timing my contractions, and they had already hooked me up to that machine that shows you like all the contractions, and like you could see all the contractions and it looked crazy. Like they were wild, but I didn't at this time, like the pain kind of started going down, so it wasn't that, like, it was bearable. I was like, felt like normal period cramps, just really strong. Unfortunately, I was literally 1 centimeter dilated. So I was like, oh my god, like, are you serious? I really thought I was gonna be like 2 or 3 at least, but no, I was only 1. So they told us we had to leave. They couldn't keep us there until I was at least at like 4. My mom had already called my dad at this point because like we really thought that it was gonna happen, because I was due on August 14th and it was August 13th, right? So my mom calls my dad and he was like, okay, I'm on my way. Even if like she's, you know, doesn't do it today, I'm gonna take like a week off. She has to give birth at this week at one point, right? This whole thing, we were literally at the hospital for like 6 hours because we got there like at 5 in the morning. We didn't leave the hospital till like 2 in the afternoon. So my dad got here within this time frame. He freaking flew over here in his car, and yeah, to be with me, which, thanks Dad, I love you. They're telling us, you know, just go home, walk it off, and it'll probably thin out your cervix so the baby comes out faster. It did say like, okay, obviously like you're having contractions a lot, you're 1 centimeter dilated, which really isn't much, it's like nothing, but they're like, because your contractions are so constant, you're in active labor. So technically I was already in labor from 3 in the morning that morning, right? Because that's when I started getting the contraction. My dad gets here and the first thing we do is go to IHOP because I was starving. We hadn't ate, so we go to IHOP, and then ironically when we get there I start to feel so nauseous and I don't even like it. I just don't feel like eating anymore. So we decide that after IHOP we're all gonna go to the mall and we're just gonna walk all day, right? So that's exactly what we did. My feet were so swollen. We walked in the mall for like 4 hours just walking, like we didn't even buy shit. Finally, like, I'm really tired at that point. I was swollen, I felt uncomfortable, my back was hurting, I couldn't stand up no more. I was like, fuck this shit, let's go home. I want to say like around 8 o'clock, like the pain started kind of coming back and getting worse, and then it went, that's when it changed from 15 minutes to like every 10 minutes. So then I was like, okay, you know, we're getting closer, we're getting somewhere. I decide that I'm gonna play Just Dance. If you don't know what Just Dance is, it's a game on the Wii that you play and you literally copy the dance moves that the character gives you, and like you get more points like if you do the moves right and stuff. It was like 8:30 I want to say, and yeah, I started playing Just Dance. I really went in it, y'all. I was huge at this point. I was huge. I'm playing Just Dance all night. I'm getting it on. I'm not I went mad hard playing Just Dance. I finally got tired. I was like, okay, I'm fucking done playing Just Dance. Okay, I've been dancing for like 2 hours, dead ass. I didn't stop dancing till like 10:30 almost. So I jump in the shower, and you know, and then I get out, and then Leo's asleep, my dad's asleep, like everyone's going to sleep already. And I go to sleep. I wake up in so much pain, so much pain. It was like period cramps level 1,000. Like it was horrible. I woke my mom up and it's like it hurts, like it really hurts, like really bad, and like I felt like I couldn't breathe. So it's midnight. I'm like in so much pain, and at this point my mom's like, okay, I think it's really time this time, because I couldn't stand up. So she was like, all right, let's go. Wake up Leo, and we tell him, and then she wakes up my dad, and she's like, I don't know if she's really gonna have the baby right now, so I'm just gonna take her to the hospital with Leo, and I'll call you and Sandy and let you guys know what's going on, if it's time or not. So that's what we did. So me, Leo, and my mom went to the hospital, all 3 of us. And we get there and they do the same thing and they check me. She's like, okay, so now you're 2 centimeters dilated. And I was like, are you serious? Are you fucking serious? We can't keep you here until you're at least like 4 centimeters dilated. And I was only 2. So they sent us home again. Pain for me was just way too much, and I just could not sleep. The nurse was actually nice enough to give us some medicine. She gave me some like sleeping medicine, but it was safe. She said it was safe to take while you're pregnant. So we go back home, and thankfully with the medicine it knocked me out, but literally it only put me to sleep from the hospital to the way home. So I went upstairs to my room and I tried to get some sleep, and I could not sleep. I kept waking up every like 10-15 minutes. Like I was asleep because of the drug that she gave me, but like physically I felt everything still. Finally, like I want to say like 7 in the morning, 6, 7 in the morning, I wake up still in so much fucking, like even worse. She was like, okay, fuck this, like I'm calling your doctor, like your OB. So she calls my OB and she's like, look, like this is going on. Myra's been feeling contractions since yesterday. So when my mom was telling her about all the pain I was in and what I was feeling, she was like, bring her right now. And we get there, and then you know she takes me in right away. She lays me down, she checks me, and she was like, you need to go to the hospital right now because you're 5 centimeters dilated. And I was like, bitch. At this point the contractions were still really painful, but then they would go away and I'd be good, and then they come back 5 minutes later and I was like like I couldn't talk. And then like they would go away and I'd be like, oh yeah, you know, like it was like that. It was weird. We're flying to the hospital and my mom calls my dad. She's like, okay, I think it's time, like for real. So my dad and Sandy are getting ready, and then you know we get to the hospital, and my doctor had already told us, when you get to the hospital, tell them that I sent you here, so that I sent you. Okay, so we did. We got there and I was like, my doctor sent me because I'm 5 centimeters dilated. And already like they had a chair for me ready, they had a room for us ready. They were right away, they were like, oh yeah, she just called us, like come on in. And like, so they took us in right away. Like I said, it's like 8, 9 in the morning. And then right away I had my nose used to be pierced, you can still see the little hole, but so I had to take it out that moment, because you know, like just in case of an emergency or something. So everything was ready and we're chilling, and at first it's not too bad. Okay, at first I feel okay, like I'm still chilling, like I feel fine for a while, and then the pain really started kicking in. Honestly, like I started getting really nervous, and my sister just kept consoling me. She's like, you're good, just remember what Lisa said, like our bodies are made for this. So I was just wondering like, how long is this gonna take, right? They came in and they checked my cervix again. They checked to see how dilated I was again, and I went up to 6. So there's just one more, but still it's a difference, right? So I went up to 6, and then a few, like 2 more hours go by, I'm still at 6, and I'm like, damn, but like it's starting to hurt, like, you know, it's just hurting more and more. And I'm like, oh my god. Like, so then finally the doctors are like, okay, I think we're just gonna break your water for you, because my water never broke. So I was like, okay, you know, like, so that the process goes by quicker. So then and then came in the anesthesiologist, I think that's how you say it, and he starts saying, oh, once your water breaks, you're gonna start feeling a lot more, like it's gonna start really hurting. And I was like, it's gonna hurt more, like, damn. So then he tells me, so do you want to get the epidural, because now is the time, like after we break your water you have the chance to get it, you know? And I was like, no, like I'm not getting the epidural. And when I tell you guys, they made the biggest deal out of me not wanting to get the fucking epidural. Like, they made it seem like it was them or something. I swear to god, they broke my water for me. Yo, when I tell you guys, not even like 30 minutes after they broke my water, I felt everything. Like, I couldn't stay laying down. That is one thing my cousins gave me the best advice, which was do not stay laying down. Move around when you're in labor, because if you're just laying down, you're gonna feel everything so much more. They had like a big chair, and I was literally with my legs open, like doing squats and like going in circular motion. Time goes by and I start feeling a sensation to push. Literally, I started feeling like I had to push. I was like, get the nurses, like, cause I really feel like he's gonna come right now. They get the nurses, and I'm like, you gotta call my doctor, I think the baby's coming like right now, like I feel like I have to push. And then the nurses run in and they're like, don't push, don't push. And I was like, it hurts, like I have to push. Like, and they were like, don't push, like your doctor's coming. They laid me down on the bed. They told me to spread my legs, and I was like, okay. And they're like, don't push. When I was laying down with my legs open, I looked at my mom, and she saw how pain, like how much pain I was. She told me straight up in Spanish though. She was like, you don't pay attention to them. If you feel like you have to push, you push. She was like, don't listen to them, they're crazy. And I was like, okay mama. So, you know, I'm waiting for the doctor, and I really tried to wait, but I couldn't. I started pushing. So then the doctor finally gets here, and at this point, I'm laying down, I'm looking up. My mom has like a wet towel on my forehead because I'm sweaty. Leo's on my left side, like rubbing my shoulder. My sister's by my mom, and she's telling me like, you got this, Myra, like you're doing really, really good. And like, they were really, really helpful. I'm pushing so hard, and then I start feeling like I'm gonna pass out, and I'm like, I'm gonna pass out, I'm gonna pass out, like that. I'm mumbling because I can't even talk loud, and my mom's like, she's gonna pass out, like she's gonna pass out. And so the nurses get me an oxygen mask, and I'm like this, and they're like, okay, push, push. So I start pushing, and then apparently I was just too small, and Ziki's head was just a little too big for him to come out. So the doctor looked at my mom and asked her, do you give me permission to cut, because I have to cut her right now. Like, we were not expecting this at all. So my mom was just so scared, and my sister was like, mom, like you have to give them an answer like today. So my mom was like, yeah, like whatever you gotta do, just do it. So she cut me. I kid you not, I don't even remember feeling that. I didn't feel it. That's how bad the labor pain was. I didn't feel scissors cutting down to my booty hole. So she cuts me, and then the baby, in that moment after she cut me, she told me give one last push. And I, with everything I had left in me, I pushed, and my son came out into this world for the first time. They laid him right on my chest. I wanted skin to skin right away, and they gave him to me, and it was the best feeling in the whole world. It felt like all that craziness that just happened, like everything was worth it. It was just the best feeling just to feel him. And I started talking to him right away, and right away he started moving his little head up, trying to figure out where the voice was coming from. Like, he recognized my voice, and right away I put him on the boob, and he was just so beautiful and so warm and just so perfect. During all this, I'm not even realizing, but I look up and there's like 10 more doctors in the room, and I'm like, what the hell? And then at that point the nurses had already grabbed him and they started taking him to the under the lamp so that he could warm up, and like just to check him and everything, to get him all cleaned up. Okay, so after, like, everything happened fast, right? So the nurses took Zeke, but at this moment, like, while I had him, my doctor was already trying to put me back together. She started stitching me, and they took the baby away and she was still stitching me. I started feeling everything because at this point my adrenaline went down, the baby's here, and I started feeling literally the needle all up down there. She gave me like a pain, like it was like a painkiller, and she put it, I had IV in me and everything, so she just put it and it went through the IV and went through my arm. And after, like, I still felt it through the painkiller, but it wasn't that bad. It just felt like pressure down there. Then when she finished, I asked for the baby again. I was like, can I hold him again? And they gave him back. Like, my mom had already held him, and everyone had already held him. It was a really beautiful moment. My parents were both in tears. It was just amazing. And you know, after she stitched me up and everything and all the doctors finally started leaving, I got to hold the baby again, and I had him in my arms and everything was fine. And then I started feeling so out of it. I was on another planet type shit. So I tell Leo, I'm like, here, like, I hand him the baby, I'm like, take him, because I feel so out of it. Like, I don't even think I can hold him right now. Like, that whatever they gave me fucked me up there. And unfortunately I had to have a catheter on me, and I needed help using the bathroom. I needed help for everything, to sit down. I couldn't even sit down. Like, it would hurt just to sit. Like, I never thought that I would be in so much pain after giving birth. Like, I was in so much pain. I swear I have the best family and the best husband in the world, because Leo helped me and he saw things that I never would have thought I would let him see, and it was just crazy, like, you know. But everything was all good in the end, and we had our own room, and Zeke was here in the world. We didn't sleep like at all for the first 3 days. I was breastfeeding and I found it really difficult for me. I didn't produce enough milk. When we went home, I was still struggling to breastfeed, but I did it anyways. And then after a while I decided to just use formula because I felt guilty. I was like, man, like, I felt like a bad mom, because and by the way, if you have trouble breastfeeding, like, you're not alone. It's not, you know, the same for everybody. It could be really hard for you. It was for me, and I felt really guilty when I put him on formula. I felt like the worst mom in the world, because breastfeeding was like, everyone would be talking about it, and it just was so hard for me. And I decided that I was gonna put him on formula, but I continued breastfeeding him while he was on formula. So for example, I would keep him on formula throughout the day, and then at night I would breastfeed him, or throughout the day when my boobs just started getting really full, I would breastfeed him. And you know, it would be like that. I forgot to mention this, but he was born at 2:50 in the afternoon, and he weighed 7 pounds and 6 ounces, and he was the cutest little thing ever. And I actually have, I'm gonna just show you guys this picture. That's him, you guys, that little human. He came out of me, no epidural, no nothing, and I still can't believe that I did that. So that is the story about when Leonardo Ezekiel Avila came into this world and changed my life for the better in every single way. He makes me so happy. He makes me laugh every day. He's so funny. He definitely has his own little personality. I promise I'll put him in more videos. but that's how he came into this world. I hope you guys enjoyed this little get ready with me slash story time. If you guys liked it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notifications. And if you guys want to see more makeup videos or more story times, let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye.